Welcome to Two Limes and a Lemon. I'm your host, Dave, and today we're kicking off with something truly special, for me at least. I don't know about you two. On our brand new series, Into the Woods. That's right, we're deep diving, and I mean deep, so I hope you've got some good oxygen tanks, because we're going to go into the whole filmography of the one and only, my favourite, Elijah Wood.
Are we having theme music? Like, how do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's going to do us some, like, a jingle, I think.
Dave!
Nat!
Danielle.
Two Limes and a Lemon. Now, I think he's a cinematic treasure, a national hero, possibly a wizard in disguise.
A national hero?
I don't know how you guys initially feel about him.
He's a good actor. There we go. That's how I feel.
I will agree with Natalie. I enjoy a lot of what he's in.
Yeah, same.
You're not as passionate as I am, but hopefully by the end of this series, you'll see the light of Galadriel, let's say, of Elijah Wood's performances in all of his films, and we can grow to really appreciate man himself, Elijah Wood.
Maybe you'll flipper our opinion.
Yeah.
Or it could go the complete opposite way, and we end up completely hating him because we've had
That's
to
possible too.
sit through. Especially these early ones where he's, not really in it.
So where better to start this whole journey of Into the Woods than Elijah's blink and you'll miss it role in Back to the Future Part 2. Yep, today we're time travelling back to 1989 to talk about hoverboards, future fashion and the arcade scene itself where our boy Elijah Wood stars. Right, so let's go. Before we start obviously talking about the wonderful man himself, Elijah Wood, let's just see what we've been up to and what we've been consuming this week. Nat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I will start. I'm going to go with a new PlayStation 5 game that I got this week called Date Everything. And I know that Danielle has also been playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your thing you're going to talk about as well, Danielle? Or
Yeah, I think we can talk about it together.
you guys talk about it together.
So basically the premise is that you're in a house with some date Vieta glasses and you can go up to any appliance or piece of furniture and strike up a conversation and in turn either become friends, lovers or enemies.
Why though?
Why? That's a good question. I don't know.
It's part of like a genre of date simulator games. Isn't Doki Doki Literature Club sort of in that same, like a twist on that same sort of game too?
Yes, I have played that actually. Yes, it was free on PS Plus, I think, a while back. But it turns into a bit of like a horror, doesn't it, that one?
Yeah. But basically, like, the style is the same where you get this, like, very anime-looking character, and then it's, like, a little dialogue tray underneath them, and you pick, like, how you react to what they say. They can become more interested or less interested.
Well, there's a lot of famous voice actors that are, because it's fully voiced, which is unusual for these sorts of games, but there's a lot of famous ones, and, like, you hear them and you're like, oh, I know that guy.
Any of the objects that you're taking a fancy to, you
I think we've originally said the same one, which was the fuse
the breaker
box. Yeah.
My second favorite is there's a D20 dice that you can play like a D&D style game with.
Why are they so charming?
It's fun. It's a bit of fun, and we're not having to drink cold water and take a shower afterwards because we're so hot and bothered by
the fuse box.
Dory the door.
No,
okay, then.
It's not really that sort of game, honestly.
While you're going around, somebody has a mystery or whatever you have to solve, or somebody lost something, or they've just got some particular habit that you need to like indulge in, and then you win their love or friendship.
How about you, Dave?
What about me? I think I am the same with Nat on this, and maybe you as well, Danielle. I have just been consuming the sun. It's so hot. It's ridiculous.
Actually, it's the opposite. I've been trying to avoid the sun.
Yeah, I've been abstaining from the sun.
But it's just been there. It's boiling. It's that period where it's all a bit muggy and you live next to the fan. Okay, let's talk about Back to the Future first. Right, so... Back to the Future Part 2. So I myself have not seen a Back to the Future film. I've not seen Part 1. I've not seen Part 3. And I obviously haven't seen Part 2. So going into this, just watching Part 2 was an interesting take and a different way to watch a film. I don't know about you, Nat. Was you in the same boat?
Yeah, I have quite proudly never seen any of the Back to Futures films before this podcast. So I was a bit disappointed when Elijah Wood happened to be in it.
Yeah. He's got to start somewhere. He's got to start in some indie film, doesn't he?
An indie film. So Back to the Future Part 2 is the first one that I have seen in the franchise.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Danielle? Have you seen it many times, or have you?
I guess I'm the different one here, being a little bit older. Like, I was a kid whenever the original one came out, and it was such a huge phenomenon. And, you know, in addition to that, Michael J. Fox at the time was like one of the biggest young stars. He had a family show on a TV show called Family Ties that was like super popular, and he just seemed to be in like every movie coming out. And so I probably hadn't seen the original in the theater, but saw it. And so whenever this one came out, this was the thing that everybody wanted with the future, you know, and all the kids wanted hoverboards and stuff. I remember really liking it as a kid. We'll see in this discussion how I feel.
Well, that's the thing, because like my main reason I haven't watched it is because I feel like for me it'll be dated and I won't enjoy it, and I'll just have negative things to say. And that is true in the end. I found out that when we watched it, we had like, no, it was just, I don't know if it's because we haven't seen the first one, but then I don't know, just as a film it just felt like it was like all over the place.
Well, can I tell you, having not watched this in a long time, watching the second one and having in the past seen the other two, this one contains an awful lot of both the first and the third ones.
Exactly.
There are full scenes redone in this one. And then, you know, not to spoil the end, but the end of the film has like an entire trailer of the third one.
Oh, yeah, because they were filmed back to back. They included it,
and it shows what clearly is one of the end moments of what the third film is. If you're thinking about what's going to happen, so
please watch the third one. We've already filmed it.
You can watch the second one, and you've seen all three essentially, I think.
So watching this film, obviously, for me, it just started. Well, not for me. It just starts straight away, and instantly he's like, "We gotta go. We gotta." It very much like it. Obviously, I've seen Rick and Morty now, so it very much you can see where they've got that dynamics taken from and those characteristics. And it just, for me, it was just like it's just the whole Rick and Morty thing. His sort of eccentric doctor character.
Yeah. It's straight into the action, and it literally doesn't slow down, I would say, the whole way through the film.
So I think the first one was so popular, I think probably everybody had seen it, and they just assumed everybody had seen it. And it probably wasn't such a incorrect assumption to make. I see why they did that, but later on, as a standalone film, it's not really a great technique to just jump right in like that.
We gotta go. Bring your girlfriend for some reason.
Yeah, bring your girlfriend for no reason.
Like the whole thing that they had to like knock her out, or they bring her along. He didn't know what to do. Why didn't they use the little knockout thing in the 1989 or whenever? You know, like But I guess that moves along the plot.
Oh, and they go to 2015, which unfortunately is nothing like 2015.
What was your first thoughts, Nat, when obviously they go to 2015 and it was like, this is what it's like?
Well, originally, when they come out and they're in the sky and there's flying cars, I was like, it looks like we're in the Fifth Element. Yeah. But it quickly turns into just normal Earth, but with a little bit of flying cars in the distance.
And funny,
The future stuff, I think, was the thing as a kid why this movie was so fun. Like, why I probably liked it. Like, there was the hoverboards and the holographic Jaws that comes at him and the flying cars. And, because it was not 2015 yet. So that seemed like, this is going to be the future.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'll tell you, the one thing I remember most that I'm like, why haven't they invented that by now after seeing it on the film was that, like, pizza that they instantly rehydrated into.
Oh, yeah. Everyone would love that.
And, like, the weird, like, fruit thing that they pulled down off of the ceiling.
So, yeah, obviously, they head into the future. It's all a bit chaotic. But this is where we get our glimpse of our first interaction with Elijah Wood.
Oh, yeah. Can I tell you, I missed it. I had to rewind it because I was like, oh, wait, those two kids, that must have been him. Rewind.
He was 8 at the time.
With his one line.
Yeah. Does everyone know what the line is? Because I don't.
Oh, I thought you knew what it was.
I think it's like, you have your you have to use your hands, that's a baby's toy or something like that.
And they're playing the Wild Gunman video arcade game, isn't it, in the diner?
Because if nothing else, this movie is a lead up to the third movie. Just like Wild West, random things dropped in all over the place.
I didn't even make that comparison.
Oh, yeah.
How did you think it went as a child performer? Normally they're quite bad.
I thought he hammed it up a little bit too much. I thought he had this like, "Aw, geez, mister," face on for two. Like, the other kid gives you the one line to your face. Like, you don't see Elijah Wood give a line. It's like his back to us. And then Elijah Wood has like the reaction face, like, huh, and then they storm off.
With his little green baseball cap made out of some sort of metal.
I was so much more transfixed by the hat choices they had for those two kids. The one kid had like plastic. It was like a piece that went back over his head and then just a brim with no fabric on it. And then Elijah Wood's was something else that was sort of like hard plastic.
The technique they like to obviously reuse again and again is the whole mirror kind of thing. The amount of times we're like, oh, here it comes. They can't cross over. They've got to do something. There's just this direct like line where the camera, they can't cross over to make sure that they're both, oh my God, the same actors in the same scene with himself. How have they done that?
I made a note. They must have been so proud of that because the only main character in this film that did not meet themselves in another timeline was Einstein the dog. Every single other character had like a moment where they were in the same scene with their past self.
Yeah, they found out how to do it and they're going to use it, alright?
I don't know. We mean that when we was watching it, we couldn't really put, like, it was just like events that are just happening without like an overarching plot.
I suppose if we'd seen the beginning, like if we'd seen the first one, we probably would have had a bit more context to fill in the gaps. But if you are just watching it as a standalone movie, it's just one plot point to the next. There's no like I say, it never slows down. So it's just set piece to set piece.
Well, I think the overarching thing is don't mess with time. Like he messed with time and he thought he had everything sorted out, but then it all just kind of ripples through to all of these different timelines. And they're just creating more and more mess the more they do. What I didn't understand is why they didn't... It seemed to me the whole, like, why everything was messed up in the future initially is because Marty suddenly has this, like, where she can't be called chicken. I don't remember that in the first one. If somebody had just taken him aside and said, hey, like, chill out with the chicken thing and then you won't like ruin everybody's life.
Because doesn't he get fired and he gets like faxed to himself being fired like 8 times?
Can I tell you, for all of the like, oh, look at the future, hoverboards, all of this other stuff, apparently in 2015 we're still using faxes.
Yeah.
Because that's how he gets fired.
And we're all dressed like people from the Capitol in the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, another thing where I feel like the film just kept me like dragging a little bit or just not entertaining. It kept kind of following the same, what was it, like, oh, we've got to try to sneak and get the that magazine. It was kind of like that same routine like 4 times of someone trying to sneak and then getting hit by a door or the chairs falling on my hand or Biff's can't see me, and it's all just, we've done this like
nobody
3
just
times.
grabs anything. They just like long it out for as much as possible.
Well, I kind of understood that because like he's trying desperately not to be seen by his past self.
Yeah, but when he's in the back of the car, his like past self wasn't there, or future self or whatever wasn't there, so it's like he could have done it.
No, and he was like talking full voice on his like, were cars that loud back then? Was Biff that deaf?
And do you think that the Doctor wasn't really in it that much? The main character, he kind of just didn't do much in the
I think
film.
he was the same in the original too.
Oh really? Okay.
Because it didn't make that much. Like Marty goes back and he figures out that he's in the past, and then he finds the younger Doc Brown. And so Doc Brown is sort of working on the whole rig with the lightning. They know that there's this big lightning storm because in the normal timeline there is a like a fundraiser to get the town clock working again because it's been stopped since the lightning hit it. So he knows that they can use the lightning to perhaps start the thing again. So he was sort of like in and out of it. He's a lot more prominent in the third one, I think.
I do like the fact that when they think that they've got back to the right timeline the first time, they literally judge it on, there's a plane, so we must be in the right timeline. Like, because the display on the car's not telling the right thing, but they're like, no, there's a jet, so we're definitely back. I'm going to butt in 1 second. When did Michael Jackson die? Because in this, he's still cracking on in 2015.
He was alive until the 2000s.
Yeah, but I mean, did he make it to 2015? He didn't, did he?
Oh, don't think so.
No, 2009.
Oh, they got that. They got that wrong. They got that.
I will say, I don't know if this got kept in from the last discussion, but I was trying to explain that the father character in Dawn of the Dead, the new one, played a character named Max Headroom that did advertising in the 80s. And that's what the waiters in that 80s cafe are styled after.
Oh, okay.
Where they were like kind of glitching out a little bit when they talk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the big TV came down, didn't it? And he's trying to order.
And he just gets a Pepsi. I assume it was sponsored.
Oh.
Yeah, we said big sponsor by Pepsi.
That's a carryover joke from the original. The original one, he wants like and it's not even fun. It's even more dated now because Pepsi doesn't make this product. Pepsi made a diet product in the late 80s that didn't work out called Pepsi Free. And so the joke was he goes back in the past and he goes to the diner and he orders a Pepsi Free. And he was like, no, you got to pay for it, kid.
Oh, okay.
In 2015 is whatever weird iteration of Pepsi.
Didn't they make that though? I think they made like a special edition Pepsi because of the film. Yeah, Pepsi Perfect. Yeah, the futuristic Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, it was later released as a limited edition in 2015. So going back to that, so the nostalgia thing I was saying. So for me and Nat, we have no nostalgia for this because we've not seen it. But for you watched it when it came out, or whatever. How did that hold up for you? Do you think? Did it meet expectations? You're like, oh yeah, this is just as fun as I remember it, or was you just like, oh geez?
No, I wasn't like geez, but like I definitely like I can see where this appealed to me, but no, like I could see where the nostalgia points hit me. Because they still sort of, like, I was like, oh yeah, that, again, I was like, why isn't that pizza rehydrator invented by now? So that stuff was fun. But yeah, as a movie itself, I now understand the criticisms that it's not, it's definitely a bridging movie. I can see where they had things that they wanted to do in the Old West, in that storyline, but they needed to figure out a reason why they got back there. And then it was a lot of like, hey, look what we can do with,
the technology.
Yeah, the technology, but also like banking on how much people love the original. So like they show almost the entirety of that Enchantment Under the Seas or whatever dance at the end, and like the thing where he plays Johnny Be Good was like,
oh yeah,
the big famous scene in it. So they basically got to just redo that all over again. I wanted to bring out one interesting point on this. So Crispin Glover played the father in the original.
Yes.
And he ended up, there was a huge lawsuit because he didn't sign on to do the second one, but they did the makeup to make the guy look exactly like him, and basically didn't really, it kind of concealed the fact that it wasn't another actor playing it. So Crispin Glover was able to sue the filmmakers for a ton of money. And I think he ended up getting some sort of like credit for his likeness for the movie.
Why didn't he want to come back for the second one?
Crispin Glover is, like I saw him live one time because he was taking on tour a film he does himself. So he's very like artsy, and his theory is he does commercial films to get the money to make his more artistic projects.
Okay.
So I think it just wasn't of interest to him.
He didn't really want to be in a franchise, yeah.
Yeah.
So just walking back to Elijah Wood.
Oh wait! Before we go on, I have one other fun little factoid. Whenever Biff is getting his car, because something I didn't remember, his car gets like filled with manure in the first one, and he's paying the mechanic to get his car back. The guy who plays the mechanic was the voice of Roger Rabbit, Charles Fleischer.
Oh, did you see the little Roger Rabbit in the store as well?
Oh yeah, in the like sort of pawn shop or whatever, where he gets the sports memorabilia book. Yeah. Yeah.
So I looked at some stuff. Obviously, Elijah was 8 at the time when making this film. So I'm trying to find anything on his experience of when he went to film. And the only things I could find out is that he enjoyed it. Who's Marty McFly? I can't remember his name.
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox is a nice guy, but obviously didn't spend his breaks talking to two kids. So he said, well, I spoke to him on set a few times. It seemed all right. He said the main kind of thing was the set itself, like all having all the future cars and stuff. So as like an 8-year-old being in that environment, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so cool. I've got all this to do. Other than that, that's the only sort of details we can get with Elijah's
For his
performance.
first ever
For his
role.
first ever role. But that's pretty good to have your first ever role, to be in a big franchise
no,
like
his
that.
first IMDb credit is in a Paula Abdul video.
Yeah, but that's
So he's in a
video.
music video before this.
Yeah, but like his first like feature film to be.
Moving.
Yeah, no, I'm just being difficult.
We can go watch the music video
So
if you really.
pedantic. Yeah, I'm not watching a Paula Abdul video.
But yeah, so I feel like that's a really good sort of start for someone's career, just to sort of get into a big blockbuster movie and try and springboard yourself.
What
from
a
there.
cult classic
What
to
a
be
cult classic,
straight
yeah.
in as a cult
Yeah.
classic. Maybe it's not a cult classic to me, but I appreciate loads
Yeah.
of other people like it.
No, and I would say a lot of people my age, it's like a cult classic, and I now wonder if they have revisited it since the nostalgia of the original viewing.
Yeah.
Along with obviously Back to the Future, I just wanted to sort of get views on why we're doing this whole Into the Woods thing as well, because in terms of context, we haven't got much to say with Back to the Future in terms of Elijah Wood's role. But I don't know, for me, I always feel like his films, especially if he's a lead or something, they're always interesting and intriguing movies. They're always got a bit of a weirdness to them. They're interesting. They're always not the same. They're kind of different. And yeah, I just think they're quite quirky overall. Like, you got Sin City, you've got obviously Lord of the Rings. That's my first introduction to the guy. Green Street, which is again another like sort of like completely random. Oh, I'm going to just do the Lord of the Rings. Now I'm going to do a football hooligan movie. I feel like
Faculty.
Yeah, the Faculty. I just for a fan, I can't think of any off the top of my head. But
Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Finn, yeah.
Flipper.
Flipper, yeah. Armageddon. No, is it Armageddon? The one.
Armageddon, no. Deep
What's the one?
Impact.
Deep Impact. He's just got so many
You call
different
yourself
roles.
a fan.
Yeah, I know, right? I need to get his IMDb list up. But there's so much like film catalogue there of just interesting movies, and it's not like, oh, it's another Western movie, it's another action film, it's kind
He's
of
not
like
typecast.
he's not,
Yeah.
which means he's got a range. I feel that's quite rare with some actors to have a range. Or Maniac's really good. That's definitely something I want to watch again.
Well, we will be getting through all of these movies, but
Yeah.
we will be doing them in batches because that's like too much Elijah.
Yeah. But I don't know what you're like. Obviously, this is like an actor that I think's like great, and I'm really glad that we're doing this, and I can see a bit more of his work. I just like his movies. I like his acting. But what about like you guys in terms of is there an iconic role that you think he's good in? Or?
I mean, obviously for me, Lord of the Rings was although I'd seen him in things previously, that was the role that put him on the map, so to speak, in my eyes. Not that he's particularly my favourite character in Lord of the Rings, but I still appreciate that he's very good in it. I do like him in Sin City, although he's got a very small role in that as well. But
That's
yeah,
the thing,
like you
he
say,
can-
he is very diverse in what he picks to do. He's not one of those actors that just does anything for the sake of it. I feel like he chooses his roles based on how interesting they are.
Yeah, and he always gives his own take on it as well. It's not like Sin City, small role but memorable.
I will say I confuse what role he has in Sin City, so that'll be like a revisiting for
He's
me.
a cannibal in that one with shiny glasses. But obviously, you like him, and I know that you wanted to do the Into the Woods section. You want to do a whole podcast just on Into the Woods.
Yeah.
But we managed to sway you to also diversify your own movies. We can't just do that. So,
No.
But yeah.
I think you would have eventually been solo on that if you had forced us to watch all of them.
Sorry,
only.
just like a news station on my own. Like, okay, so today we're going to just talk about the next film of Elijah Wood's movie.
Plus, it's a little bit stalkery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, it is a bit odd, isn't
It's
it?
for you, Elijah, my precious.
But that's the thing, though. Like, I do like it, but I'm not like a crazy fan. I'm not technically always talking about it.
You mean like you wouldn't have a friend go and see him in person and get him to say your name and then
Whoa,
get super excited?
no. Well, hey Dave, I wasn't even there. That's the thing, and I was still like, oh my god. So
No,
sad.
I think you know what we're kidding, but like it's fine to have like somebody like an actor or whatever that
course it
is your
is.
favorite. Yeah, like
Who's yours,
this is
then?
yours, and we're happy to indulge you in that. Like you put me on the spot. I don't know off the top of my head. Like I was sort of thinking if like Nat and I were both to have our own feature like this too, who would I pick as
Yeah.
like the
Oh.
person whose films I'd want to do a bunch of, and I think I would do David Lynch, the director, because it sort
Okay.
of like personifies my taste in what I think is kind of interesting films that I would like to introduce you guys to, but
Yeah.
also, you know, like to promote. Nat?
I would do Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh.
Oh yeah, of course you would.
I think she's a very diverse actor in that she's been in things like The Help, where she played like a horrible character. She's been in like action films like Jurassic World. She's been in like horror films like The Village. To me, I think she is my Elijah Wood.
Who's your Elijah Wood? That's it. In the comments, can you just let us know who's your Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood?
Who's your Elijah Wood? We've all got one.
And if we can get it out there, Elijah Wood. Who is your Elijah Wood?
Yeah, it's like looking in the mirror, me. But no, okay. Just to go back to the Future. Apparently, Michael J. Fox actually played his son, but he also played his daughter as well.
To be honest, I don't know if I had lost a bit of interest by that.
Yeah,
That was real
I'm
early,
sorry,
too.
Elijah.
yeah. It's fine. He only cameoed. He's only got a bit, but he doesn't talk about it that much.
I'd say, like, going back to what Danielle said earlier about how they redid a lot of the first film, I do think if I had seen the first film, I'd have been really bored. Because it was, from what I could tell, just like, yeah, shot for shot copy. So I'm like, if
Yeah.
you've already seen the first one, why do you need to see the second one?
Yeah,
Well, I think it was a lot of like technical thing, like the scene where he's interacting with his mother in the car and he's like slinking down past them so they don't see it. You know, I'm sure that was like exciting technology at the time that they could have him in a scene above, you know, all the split screen stuff.
Speaking of his mom, I love her prosthetic chest in the future.
And it's not, you know what, maybe that is the most
Droop.
telling thing of like our time, is that it didn't look that out of like
Yeah, I know. It obviously was meant to be like crazy and like so like unimaginable, but it did look kind of just normal for nowadays.
that wasn't the future though, was it? That was just in the normal times because he went back.
Oh, that was the
you're
alternate.
right.
Yeah.
That was just the 80s now. That was just the
we didn't even talk about Biff's Concito with like the flame towers on either side, and there's like a big picture of Biff with a stack of money just lighting his cigar on the
Yeah.
casino. And then you walk in and there's a nice little exposition dump where they have a museum of Biff Tannen where they tell you
Yeah.
how he made the money. Oh,
Yeah.
another fun cameo at that point. Billy Zane was one of the tough guys.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
But were they from the future? Because they came in the past and they were chasing after Marty.
Yeah, they never seemed to age in whatever
Yeah.
timeline they were in.
No, I think that was one of their gimmicks, like that you see people that are like, I don't know. Maybe they were conserving the money to pay actors with for technology, like
Maybe.
do more tricks. Let's have the same actors
Split
and everything.
screen. Did think that the split screens were good because obviously in nowadays doing a split screen is just you get two clips, place them on top of each other, and then split it down the middle, done. But I still find it really interesting that you can do like a tracking shot at the same time. So when it's moving and the camera's moving left and right or backwards or tracking back and forward, to get it lined up so well. I think they did really good, especially at 89, to get something like that done. That's quite an
I think that
achievement
was
for that
Robert
time.
Zemeckis' thing. Like all of his movies had, you know, you think of the technology in Forrest Gump for the time. It was amazing. No, when he did What Lies Beneath that we talked about during the Gothica episode
Oh,
too.
did he? I can't really remember the CG in Forrest Gump, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't like what
Oh,
happened
it
in
was
Forrest
it was
Gump.
him interacting with all the people in the past. You know, like Forrest Gump goes and meets presidents, and you know the ping pong thing. Like that was the whole. It was just like a
I've
bunch
not
of
seen it for a very long
Forrest
time.
Gump interacting with famous figures.
Oh, was they actually the real famous figures then?
No, it was like it was like archival footage.
Oh,
that they
okay.
had like put him
In my
into.
head, it's just actors that looked like the
Oh no
character.
movie magic.
Apparently I need to watch Forrest Gump.
I did think they'd done it this way. So obviously when the camera's moving and it's split at the same time, so they would obviously do the same take multiple times, like at least twice, but they had the camera on like a motion control rig where it would do the same camera shot each time. So long as if the actors knew where their placement had to be, then they could get the shot. Again, you can't overlap, can you? That's why I like the bit where, do you know when he gives himself the wrench, when the doc gives himself the wrench to fix the thing? It's just like he puts his hand behind, obviously, the bit where you can't cross, and they've clearly got someone else hand him over to it, so they have to line up their hand.
Yeah.
So they probably have to line
behind
their
the
hand up.
lamppost,
Yeah,
isn't it, or something?
so yeah, that's quite interesting that they've got to try and line their hand up correctly with obviously the double at the time and get that right. And obviously the lighting has to be 100% consistent, which is good because you don't know. I didn't know when I was always looking for the line where it crossed, but no, it seemed to be right all the time. So
I think the only time the effects I like noticed them and was like, oh, was there's a scene where the time machine DeLorean is chasing, I think, Biff's car or something in the past, and it looks comical. The way the effect that they've done for that. I don't know if it was the models or what.
The only one I noticed is when he throws the magazine into the back seat of the car,
Oh,
the
yeah.
almanac, and it is a completely like CG magazine.
flying in the air. You can see this has been green screen. And then obviously this painted the way to like the Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, I do like that movie.
So without this film, there's no classic Parent Trap.
Parent Trap was a film in the 60s.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they did that split screen technology, back then.
but probably not with any camera movement.
Because
right?
it was the same actress. It was similar to Lindsay Lohan there.
Oh,
It
it's
was the
Hayley
same
Mills,
actress.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Elijah would have done a better job, but But yeah, so should we sort of think about how we're going to score this? We're going to score the film, and then we'll score the performance.
Oh God! Right, okay. I've got my favourite character and worst character.
Oh.
So now I will
yeah, should we have- do you
score
want- should we-
Elijah's performance.
Do you want to talk about our characters first?
Okay.
Don't go to me first. I need to think of mine.
Well, you go first, Dave.
Okay, I think I like Elijah Wood.
No.
No, excluding Elijah
sucker.
Wood. Excluding Elijah Wood. I would say the Doc. I like the Doc character. He's just a bit mad. He's eccentric. He didn't do too much in the film, but when he was in the scene, he was quite fun to watch. So yeah,
And who's your least favourite?
probably Marty
Oh my God.
because he's just a bit annoying. I like that he could hop over fences and stuff, but that was about it. What about you?
My favourite was Biff. And
Which
my
Biff?
least favourite. Oh, probably old Biff.
Will Biff was good.
Yeah.
Like he had clearly educated himself a bit from the past. Like
Yeah, he wasn't like stupid. He knew what to do, sort of thing. And I've got a tie for my least favourite character, which is Marty and Doc.
Oh no! Why do you hate him?
I don't really like either. I just think they're stupid. They don't make any good choices. They leave Jennifer, is that her name, in like the worst situations. They just dump her on a doorstep even though they don't even know if they're back in the right time. They leave her in an alleyway in the future. Like, they're the worst people. You don't want them as friends.
No.
I think I like Doc Brown the best because he's sort of the mad scientist and kind of fun and crazy. And then my least favorite are Marty's kids, both the like Marty Jr. and whatever her name was. Like, I think partially because Michael J. Fox tries to put on, like, a different voice for them, and it just didn't work. He was like, hey, guys. Like, kind
It's
of like a
like,
Poindexter nerd
Sort of proved that it's not
voice.
him.
But he was supposed to be the same age as this kid, like, in his current timeline. So why does this kid have such, like, a weird voice?
Just trying to act a bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
When we're
acting.
rating Elijah's performance, what are we rating it out of 5?
The 5 limes or lemons, yeah.
Okay.
For Elijah's performance, I would say I gave him 3 lemons out of 5. I thought it was a bit hammy, but he was, cute and precocious. I can see why they picked him and why he had, like, a pretty prolific child acting career.
I also gave him 3 out of 5, but limes. Yeah, I think he did all he needed to do with that very small part, but he did it well.
I'm going to give him a 4, just because... just because I can. No,
'cause
let's
you
do a
will.
3. A 3. It's obviously his first job. He's done all right.
Yeah.
He knows what he has to do. He went in there. He nailed it. He left. Job done. Paycheck.
I think
Move on to
if he
better
were a 4 or
things.
5, he would have been the one that had the line to
Yeah.
the camera.
He was an off-camera
Yeah, that's
role, wasn't
true.
he? Yeah. So, but who's the other guy? We don't remember his name. Who's this kid? No one knows.
He might be somebody really famous. I just didn't look it up.
Yeah. Maybe like Brad Pitt or something.
Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, and obviously, the film itself.
Oh,
So
what,
Nat,
the rating?
Yeah, let's rate it. So Nat, let's do yours. What did you rate the
It's got my lowest score of the podcast so far with a wonderful 1.5 limes out of 5.
film? Okay, I also gave it, a 1 out of 5. Just because I don't need to watch that. It just was like just a lot of nonsense, and it wasn't for me.
Do you know what? It would have probably been a lower score, but because I watched it with you, and we haven't actually watched any of these films together before,
Yeah.
that we've talked about, it made it a bit more enjoyable. But I think I probably would have gone lower if I hadn't watched it with you and we were laughing about it.
What about you, Danielle?
I gave it 2.5 lemons out of 5.
Okay.
A lot of it's still some nostalgia to it, but I think some of I still retain some of the things are fun to watch in it, like the hoverboards and whatever.
I love that the film itself, trash. Elijah Wood, though, a 3.
A 3. A solid 3, yeah, for that one line of performance.
He pulls the
I
film.
feel like we might be biased.
It might change as we go on, because again, he's got more to
Yeah.
say in the next film. He's got a lot more to say, hasn't he? So
What is the next film? Because we can
next
say it if we know we're going through it chronologically.
I would have to double check that.
It's called Internal Affairs.
Okay, thank you.
It's a
Should we know what it's
Andy
about?
Garcia film, I think. I think like maybe a crook. It's like a mystery thriller, possibly an erotic thriller, but I'm not entirely sure
Jesus.
about that. Hopefully,
1990.
Elijah Woods isn't part of the erotic part.
Oh God.
I'll have to prepare my eyeballs.
So yeah, join us next time for Eternal Affairs, which is an Eternal Affairs agent becoming obsessed with bringing down a cop who has managed to maintain a spotless reputation despite being involved in a web of corruption.
So maybe not erotic.
Ooh. Yeah, is that just your fan fiction, Daniel?
Look up the cover of it. It looks like it's going to be a steamy film from the cover.
Okay.
A lot of haziness.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in and having a little listen, and hopefully we can educate you guys more on some top Elijah Wood films.
I mean, don't come to us for the education per se.
Yeah.
Come here for the laughs, I guess. Yeah, so we'll see you next time, and until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.